Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So let's get it started. So we'll start with a quick recap of what we have learned in yesterday's session. Okay. So before to that, let me quickly create an EC2 instance so that it will be ready by the time I complete the recap. Okay. So here. So yesterday we started discussing about some Linux basic commands. And the first one we talked about is ls command. With to see the list of files in whichever the directory you are in, you can check that. And also you can give ls of a particular directory. You can directly, so see the files which are there in some other location, even without going there. But Windows, I don't think so it is possible, right? You have to go into that folder essentially to see the things. You can't actually sit in some other place and you want to see the files of other place. I think it is not possible by the way there, right? So that is where okay, that is where that is a limitation in Windows. So in Linux, you have that. And also you have some options, capital A to see the hidden files and -L to see the little more options about that particular file is what we have seen to start with. And if you want to know in which directory you are in, pwd command is the one. And if you want to switch from one location to another location, then cd is the command that came in. Okay, so pwd and cd. And after that, we talked about how do we start creating the files. So we talked about to create an empty file, we use search command and we use mkdir to create a directory. Okay, so this is what we talked about. And rm command, we talked about remove the files, and -r to remove the directories, and -f if it is anytime asking for forceful option. So then you have -f option. Now cp command is there for copying the files, and -r option for copying the directories, and mv command is there to cut paste, like move the files from one location to another location. Also at the same time, you can use it for renaming purpose also. Okay, and now this renaming versus move, you can actually depends upon, like, let's say move as a syntax. If you look in, now you have source and you, let's say you have a destination, right? So this is what you provide. And it all depends upon the destination. So if the destination is, let's say, if the destination exists, okay, if the destination exists and it is a directory, okay, then you're going to move. And if the destination exists and if it is a file, then what it will do is it will overwrite. Okay, so cut and paste, but at the same time, it is going to overwrite, by the way. Now, let's say if it do not exist in the case, doesn't exist. So then if you are giving a directory, okay, then if it doesn't, I mean, doesn't matter, if it doesn't exist, then you're actually doing a rename. Okay, these are the two operations that you need to understand. It all depends upon the destination. Now you give one source and you are trying to give one destination. And if that destination exists on the remote place, in the same place, I mean, like destination exists, by the way. And if it is a directory that you are moving the source inside the directory, or if it is actually a file and your source is actually a file you're trying to move to another file, and it is going to override, by the way. Now, whereas the destination doesn't exist at all, then you're doing a simple rename. I think this way you can easily able to understand the MB command distinguishing between, so when it does a move operation, when it does the rename operation, right? Yeah. And then after that, we talked about uh, looking at the content of the files, by the way. So there's a cat command we talked about, and you give a file. And we talked about head and tail commands, both with hyphen and option to see a certain number of lines. Head will see the top 10 lines. Tail will give you the last 10 lines, whereas you can also always give the customized number of lines by using -n option for both the commands. And also, if I want to search a word, then you have a grep command, okay, and you can search a word and search a word in a file, right? This is what we'll see. And the next is we talked about AWK command, okay, to have a column-based filtering. So the default filtering is okay. So the default filter is a space. Okay, you can give a custom filter, not filter, I would say, my bad, delimiter. Delimiter. That means what is delimiting? Okay, it is going to be okay. So custom delimiter you provide with a -f option and that particular limiter, by the way. So limiter can be like, it can be a colon symbol like we have seen, or maybe it can be a comma symbol. Okay, like this also you can give. Right? -f option you'll provide, and you will going to provide the delimiter. Yeah, so the AWK command. This alternative cut command is also there, but that's not that powerful like AWK command. So I'll not prefer to generally look at even, I mean, for any reason, there is no reason to go for cut command. It's a basic one. So that's where I started with AWK command itself, because it has the powerful good options to consider. Okay. Until here, we have discussed in yesterday's session. Now we're going to start with further commands we're going to learn, by the way. Any questions on this before starting? Okay. All right. So let's get it started. Yeah. So the next one is we are going to start editing the files. Yeah. Now we're going to start with, you know, editing a file. So far, previously, what we have seen is how do we get the existing content of a file, right? So we either use grep command or cat command or awk, tail, whatever you have used. It's all about getting the existing information. But I need to modify the content of the file. That's where the editing comes into picture, and a powerful editor in the operating system that comes is VI editor. VI or an enhanced version, VIM will come into picture. So both are same at the core, but whereas VIM has enhanced options, like especially like, you can see colorings as a basic example I can tell. So VI may show you the things like, in a black and white screen, but whereas VIM can enable you the color so that you can identify, or it can highlight the things on the file, by the way. So that's where mostly I'll go with the VIM. Okay, if VIM is not there also, you can still go with the VI, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, editor VI is one of the most powerful editor. Even a lot of people actually uses the, even the VI editor for their day-to-day code development also. Okay. So, okay. So that means like there is a version of, there is a segment of people who strongly argues that if you are using mouse, your productivity is actually going to get degraded. Okay. So there are quite a good amount of developers, not good amount at least, a certain segment of developers who still use only the command line editors only. Like VI is a very powerful one there. Okay, it can be customizable at a maximum extent that, so you'll not get the, the things in the other editors, by the way. There are segment of people, that's what I'm telling. Okay. Now, I don't, I'm not from that segment eventually, unfortunately. Okay. So I still feel, it's my opinion again, right? So I still feel, um, you know, uh, the VI editor has a significant amount of the learning curve, by the way. Yes, you can achieve the productivity, but there is a significant amount, not even small, by the way. There's a significant amount of learning, okay, on the editor perspective. So that's where, and again, it may not actually completely uh, possible for everyone, because whoever actually works on that segment, either they have to be on a MacBook if you need to use the VI, the powerfulness, or else your desktop need to be itself is a Linux box. Then only you can achieve these things, what we're talking about. Okay, and most of the users generally fall with the Windows segment, so you don't even fall into that category. Okay, so that's where let's try to stick to the things that what we need. And VI is no doubt, okay, the beautiful editor. Okay, so you imagine the option, you imagine a requirement, there should be an option around it. Okay, so even a lot of editors, the graphical editors that even we also use in the training may not have those many options that what we're talking in the VI. Okay, but however, when we look towards the standard practices of today, okay, where are we using VI editor? So if I need to use VI editor, that means I connect to the server. All right, I connect to the server, and then I open the file and modify the file. So, but however, if we look towards the standard practices, we are really not going to log into the servers in the real world and modify the files in the system. Okay, so that is a manual effort. So if you look at the role of the DevOps engineer, so which we highlighted as a in the very starting, like so something like the 4 pillars that we talked about. Automation is a key aspect, by the way, right? So that means if I am going and doing the things manually, like so that is actually not falling to the aligned to the role that I'm going to work in. So you're going to work on automation. Okay, so which means, okay, so I need to learn that things like automated things like basically like IAC practices, GitOps practices that will come into the picture later. Okay, all the code changes will not be directly done on the server, whereas those changes will be pushed to the server with some automation. Okay, anyhow, automation is our uh, I think third week topic that we'll pick it up. Okay, after the project. So we'll see that anyhow. Okay. Now, okay. So now all the changes is going to be pushed through some pipelines and things like that. Okay. So we are not actually going to log into the server manually and do any changes. Okay. So that is not the aligned to the real world scenario. But however, sometimes in the worst case, you still need to open an editor in the worst case. Let's say you still need to modify the things. At least you should have an understanding that how to do it. Okay. So in that particular context, we're going to talk about a very basic options in the VA editor, how to open a file, okay, how to modify the content, and how to save the file. It's same like your any other editor, okay. So it's not big deal, but just full command line. You may not use the mouse option like that. Like let's say if I have this notepad or something like that, I can do something like drop down, all these options I can choose with the mouse. But since it is a command line, you just need to do everything on the command line. That's the only difference will come. Okay. So even some people actually like, let's say if someone want to go with a new file, so they can go with control N, so new file creator. I did not really use to go here to click on this new file and all. I did not did that. Okay, I did still use a command line shortcut. Control S, save the file. Okay, I've been doing some command line shortcuts. Even I can do that here. Okay, so and you learn this, right? So the same way you will be learning the VI as well. Okay, now if you want to open any file, so by the way, so you can simply give VI or VIM. You're going to provide. Okay, VIM a file name, and if the file is not there, let's say it will create a file. If the file is already there, it will load the content of the file. If the file is not there, it is going to create the file. So both it will do. All right. So that's where VAM and a file name. So let's get to the server. Okay. So now VIM new.txt. Okay. So now I open the file. Now, actually, even here also, like let's say when you open the file with here, so now what you do, you take the mouse and click on here, right? So that means you're actually putting your mouse on the editor. Okay. So inside the editor. So you maybe here, you can go, right? But after that, whenever you want to do, you come here and keep it here. The same way, VI editor also, if you want to get into this space where you can write the content, now let's say assume VI is by default in some of this menu kind of an option it is, let's say, just assume. Now you want to go here, okay? So then how can I go here? So here, as of now, in VI editor, we have different modes, by the way. So I'm in escape mode, okay? Escape is a neutral mode, by the way. You will not do it, okay? You'll have some operations, by the way, but you're in a kind of a neutral mode. Now from here, you can go and choose some operations like this here, or else you can come to the editor. Okay, so this is how you're going to do. Now I can go back here. Now what I'm telling is, so press I or insert button or insert key. Okay, so KB key, okay, which is keyboard key to enter into the insert mode, and you can start typing the text, by the way. Okay, that means I open file. I'm pressing insert button on my keyboard. You can see this. There's an insert option coming in. So that means I can start typing it, by the way. So previously I was in escape mode. Now you can see this. I'm in escape mode. By pressing escape, I moved on to the escape mode. Okay. So now here, escape is a neutralized mode, as I mentioned. You can go to the left, which is an options one, or you can go to the right. Just imagine left, right, I'm talking. Just imagine right side. You go for a insert to edit the content. Okay. So I'm pressing insert. Okay. I'm going to type hello, something like that. Okay. I just typed something. Then when I did the modification, so then what you can do is what I mentioned. It is you can press escape again. You can go on to the escape mode. So now you can go to the so this menu mode. By the way, you can go into the menu mode. Here we call it as a colon mode. You press colon character and WQ for thing. So now once you press colon, so you're going to get into the colon mode. Okay, so which is like your menu. So some options, and whereas the W is for save and Q is for quit, which is save and quit option. Now enter. Now, if you don't want the quit, by the way, so save and quit, you want to just quit forcefully without saving anything, you can give colon Q exclamatory. Colon Q exclamatory you can use so that you can come out without. Okay, now cat new.txt, I can see the content here itself, or else open new.txt and you got it. Okay. Now, sometimes if I have a content which is like, let's say, content I have, let's say in Windows or something like that, you can copy that content. Okay, for an example, I have this content, and you come here in your putty, you simply do a right click, you just paste the things here. Okay. So for me, I had to paste it. So since it is a Mac OS, I had to exclusively give a paste. I have given a shortcut, but in putty, you can simply do a right click. Okay, it automatically pastes the things there. So now even you didn't add struggle much here, by the way, you copied some content which is already pre-prepared content in your local file. You simply did a copy paste and escape colon WQ enter. So now that content is even. So you didn't really typed anything also, right? So you had a comfort with your local editor, your local desktop. You did everything here. You simply copy pasted it. So that is also fine. Okay. So like this, you can be able to achieve it. So that is about VI editor. Now VI editor falls under an interactive editor. So that means someone actually has to interactively provide the option. I press I character, I press escape character, I press colon character. Okay, these are all, I'm manually, having an interactive way of doing it. So there are non-interactive editor as well. Okay, which is more powerful. Okay, which is, it is equivalently powerful, you can say, but at the same time can do the things in a non-interactive way, and which is our area of interest more. Why? Because that is a scope for automation. Okay, if I need to automate the things which I have done in the VI editor, with VI editor it is not possible. I have to still rely on the other editor. So that's where VI we're limiting. So we're going and learning more options on the interactive editor, which is SCD, which is our next thing. And before to that, any questions? So on the VI editor. So VI, the options are that much only I'm interested to mention. You get onto the insert mode, modify the content, save the file, come out. Any questions, please go ahead.
Anything for undo? How can we do undo and VI editing?
Again, I'm again mentioning, okay, there are many options which you have. So undo is very simple. I did everything, by the way. You don't want to do anything. So :Q exclamatory. Okay, so you open the file. So do blah, 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 blah.
It erases the whole thing, right? Okay.
I don't want to save this. So Q exclamatory. Undo also you have option, but I'm strictly limiting you. Okay.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
go there because it's not needed. Okay. So it's fine. So later we'll do that everything with the code from the system. You will write the code properly. Here, Windows option, Control Z to undo and all, right? And the same you will use, but this code will be pushed to the server, by the way, through some sort of automation. That is our major area of interest, but not directly on them. So that's where I'm consciously restricting it here. Don't mind, but there are options. I am strictly telling don't go there.
Okay.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Raghu, instead of using VI, we can use Nano also, right, to edit the file.
Yeah, you can. There are multiple editors in the system.
Okay.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Raghu, what is the difference between Q exclamation and WQ exclamation?
So you are saving and quitting with the WQ, whereas you are just giving Q, then you are quitting without saving. That is the difference.
Okay.
W means write to the disk is the option. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next one. So where we get some scenarios to discuss about, and that is with the SCD command we wanted to do. So just imagine that you need to do the same operation. Now let's say what I have done, I added some content, right? And so first of all, why you need to log into a server? Let's come to the reality also, right? Why you need to log into a server and create a file? Generally, you may do it because of some requirement from the project, right? Either you modify the existing files or you create the files, that's okay. But yeah, end of the day, it is a project requirement. Okay. Now, if your requirement is to modify a file, not about creation of a file, let's say, but just majorly about, let's say you have some software installed, you need to do some blah, blah, blah configuration changes to that particular file. Essentially, it is going to be mostly modification of the file rather than creation of the file. Okay. Most of the times, at least I can say 1995, most of the times it is going to be a modification. Now, in that particular modification criteria, so we'll be talking about different options, by the way. Just imagine if I need to start doing the modification, what all I can do the modification, right? And that can be done, okay, before anyhow going into those scenarios. So there's a SCD command, which is a non-interactive command, okay, which can help you in doing the same job of modification of a file without, having a interactive. All you need to do is write a command and enter. Command typing is mandatory. You can't avoid that. Okay. Command is mandatory for anything to perform on the Linux. But VI, if you observe, after entering the command also, it still needs interaction. After entering VI, you are pressing insert, you are pressing escape, right? So these are all interactive. Okay. But here, this statement is also very important. Interactive. Okay. Other commands also will be talking about this in some other places. So some people confuses command versus interaction. No, in VI editor, VI is a command, but whereas the other options which you used, escape, colon, okay, insert, these are all interactions. Okay. So here command is mandatory. So with the command only directly we'll be able to do that. Now with SCD command, so we are going to SCD command, we are going to With SCD command, we are just going to start with different options like, or let's go to the previous point, scenarios. Like, what are the scenarios that we are going to need when we're actually trying to do a modifier file? So first is you do a search and replace, right? And after that, what you will do now, you can add a line probably. Okay, you can add a new line, you can insert a new line, or you can change the existing line, or else you delete some lines. So this much only you'll be doing, right? And you just imagine, you don't really require more also. Just imagine also, you do search and replace. Okay, you search and replace is something like, modifying some part of the file, some part of the line. Okay, and or else you add a new line, add and insert are two different things, right? So two different in the sense, end of the day you add a line, but whether you insert in the existing line or you add to the existing line, there's a difference, by the way, insert and adding. Okay, so and after that, either you change the existing line or else you delete the lines. This much only you'll be able to do it. You really don't require more than that. Just imagine, also take a day, think about it also. Okay, you'll not generally have more options. You can have more extended scenarios. Okay, probably like, let's say I wanted to add 4 lines, something like that. Okay, so that kind of things may come also. That's also okay. But still, if you look at the high level, okay, options that what we generally require, search and replace, and modification of a line, whether you add a line or change the line or delete the line, is what you generally need it. You don't really require beyond that. Now, SCD command is actually going to help you in doing that. So SCD command, you're going to use an subcommand that, okay, so what need to perform, and you are going to give a file name, by the way. So here, search and replace has S, by the way, substitute, which is search and replace, we call it a substitute. Or else if you are having, addition, you do a insertion or addition, or you change, by the way. So these are the things that you have. Okay, now starts with a search and replace. Now you can give SCD command and some internal subcommand and the file name. It will try to do the modification, but however, it is actually going to perform on the output of the screen, but it will not actually just go and try to directly modify it. Okay, so here he is going to do a search and just give me 1 minute. Someone knocking the door. Hey, sorry, I'm back. So SCD command, the command subcommand, whatever you are executing, it is going to perform on this file, but it will show the changes on the screen only. It will not actually directly go and modify the file. However, if you use an option -i, then it actually edits the file. Then it actually edits the file. So it's up to you which one you want to do. But for learning purpose, I might not really modify the file. I always see the changes on the output screen. But if whenever I need some modification, you simply add one more option, which is -i. Okay, so let's test this by copying a file we know, by the way. So cp/etc password, and you copy here. So dot means, yesterday I was explaining, dot means current directory. Dot means parent directory, right? So I just copied in my directory and do ls. So it just copied in this location. Same file name has came here. This is also another hack. You know to really type, like, so whatever the file name you want, like, again as password, I know the same file name I wanted it. So I can simply give dot, by the way. So it will do the operation. Okay. So you have the password file. Now I will go for a substitute. Now what is substitute? Such a word and replace. In Windows, you will be having, like, let's say, here search and replace. Here you have one box. Here you have one box. Okay, where you want to search for something, replace with something. The same way here, you're going to give yes character. So a forward bracket. You can give a word which you want to search for, and a forward again forward slash, and then another word forward slash. By the way, so assume the slashes is nothing but you're making boxes. Okay, so that's where I would like to do this. First, what I wanted to do, search with the word root and replace that with admin. Okay, so now SCD substitute root with admin. Okay, and the file is password. Now what you can see is here root was there, it is changed to admin, and some other place also you generally see the root here somewhere. It was also root, it was being modified as admin. Okay, but if I cat this file again back again, so you will see root only. Why? Because I didn't modify the file, I just changed the output. Right? If I need to really do the modification, I'm going to use simply -i option. Okay, all right. Now another scenario. So now you're searching for a root and replacing with admin, but however, only one possibility has been modified. Another possibility is not modified. Like in the same line, other roots are there, so that is not getting modified. So that means this change is not happening globally on the line. Okay, so the change needs to be globally on the line. Okay, that's where we are going to use G option at the ending. Okay, we keep G at the ending, so that is going to change the things globally. So a lot of people confuses here globally across file. Okay, no, it is actually globally on the line. Every line automatically it will change, but it is global across the line. Now it also has some beautiful options now. So now let's say I wanted to change only the first possibility. Okay, so one I'll give. So you can see the first possibility has been modified. Now, whereas rather than G, I given first possibility, I can also give second possibility. So that means you can see this only the second possibility is modified, right? It has good options around it. Anyhow. Okay, now imagine your editor. Okay, so interactive editor, like you use in your Windows kind of a thing. So these kind of smart options, you generally face challenges doing that. You can do that, but still a lot of learning curve involved. So here it is a very simple yet powerful. Okay. Yeah. So G is an option. So sometimes you try to change something with the capital things. So any capital letters here. So let's say there is a kernel. Okay. And kernel. And I'm giving small k, let's say kernel, search for kernel, and replace that with, let's say, Linux, something like that. Okay. So now enter. So what happened? This kernel is not actually modifying. Right? So why is it not modifying is because an option is missing. So which is case sensitive, like SCD command by default is a case sensitive. So here I'm going to give I so that it can modify. If I give enter, so now that is actually modified. Case insensitivity can be enabled by using -i option. By default, it is case sensitive. You can combine IG options also. Okay, so that's about substitute, search and replace. Whereas if I would like to add any new line, by the way, so you can just give, let's say, insert option 1i. If I give hello world, in the first line, it is going to insert. You can see this, the first line it is going to insert. In the first line, it is inserting. Now, whereas there is an append option in the first line, to the first line, it is going to append, by the way. To the first line, it appends. So insert and append, you understand the difference? Insert means in the same line number, it is going to insert. The existing line will come down. Whereas append means to the given line, after that line, it is going to add. It is up to you which one you want to go for. And alternatively, you also have some change. Okay. So change option also is there. Change is going to change the existing line. It will remove the existing line and this new content is going to get added. So insert, append, and change are the three options that you can perform on the line. And finally, you have a delete option. So now you can go for 1D. So you can see that, delete option is gone. First line is gone. With the delete option, first line is gone. Now let's say you can also enable, so 1,5, that means 1 to 5 lines delete. So you remove the first 5 lines. And also you can do something like, so you can search a word and replace as well. So you can search a word and you can replace, like, let's say there is a EC2 user, and delete the line of EC2 users, enter. So now you can see this EC2 user is gone. Now wherever I have, let's say, no logins, I wanted to delete those lines, let's say. And if I hit enter, all the no logins are gone. Other lines are here, right? So simply like this, but all the time I'm not doing the modification to the file. If I need to do the modification, I'll simply give -i option. -i will perform the operation directly on the file, and you will not see the output anymore, but the changes are actually applied on the file. All the lines are gone. Okay, so these are the things that we have in the editor. And also you can have multiple commands also you can provide, by the way. So you can provide a -e first. So if you want to give multiple commands also one by one to be executed in SCD command, in the same SCD command, this can be splitted as 3 SCD commands, or else you can also allows you to have multiple options to be executed in the same command line also, SCD -e 1D. After that, this performs. After that, this will perform. Okay, that is how SCD is going to work. That's all about on the SCD side. Any questions?
Hi, this SED is kind of confusing. Could you please explain this combining command line? So this
So now
hyphen
let's say I wanted to, so far you're performing one command only, right? So that means doing something. Now I want to do multiple things. So I want to remove a first line, one operation. And after that, the first insert I wanted to do, which is hello world. So these are two different operations. Now, how can you do that is you can give SCD -i first operation on the file and then the second operation on the file. Rather than that, you can give -e the first option, -e the second option. So rather than executing two SCD commands, with a single SCD command, you can achieve giving two individual options also at the same time. So that will get performed.
Yeah, other thing is, when you give a D, right? You don't have to give global options because it deleted everything in the file, right? How does it, there is no global action for D?
No, so the editor of SCD or even vEditor also, like these options works on line by line only, not file. Okay, file anyhow it has to do, right? So you ask to do a search and replace, it just goes and replaces on every line in the file. But however, on the right side, there are possible entries on the right side also. Now the delete operation, especially for the question you asked, right? The delete operation is going to perform on the line, okay, not on the file. So if you want to remove the file, then RM is a command, not SCD, not the editor. Editor is about the lines. So now you're going to delete the line.
Yes, if you see on the line, okay, the first command that's below, the highlighted below, said SCD -no login /D and then password, right? So what happened was it replaced what actually happened there?
Again, no replace. The D means deletion. It searched
Deleted.
for the word no login, and any line is having a word no login. It is just deleting that line.
Yeah, it did not, the operation did not happen on each line, right? It happened on the whole file, right?
Of course. and each whole file has many lines. It performed on lines only.
Okay, H lines. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Could you please do me a favor? If you don't mind, can you give me the history of all the SED commands you worked and posted in the chat? This way, I can
It's
work.
there already in the document. More or less, I followed the same.
Okay, and
Okay.
just one more thing. I'm just trying to decrypt the SED command that you gave last, just to make sure that my understanding is correct. I'm sorry, I'm taking lots of your time. Could you please go back to that document?
If this is confusing, you simply ignore it. Okay. You execute 2 commands. What is there? Now you remove first line, and after that, you go and give one insert and hello world. There's no problem. If that is confusing, you follow this. Rather than executing 2 times, I just went with single SED command. I just gave an option. It allows you to do that. If it is confusing, stick to this. Come to the 1:1 ratio. Be a happy part.
Okay, the reason why I asked you to copy the SED commands that you work now, it's because the file that you're working now is something we can also work, but in the Word document, the command that you have given, right? That's not with the same file, right? That's a reason.
It's same. It's password. I even given how to copy the file and then the
Okay.
operations I have.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Raghu, when you combine the commands, I see first command is executed and the second I don't see in the output. Like,
Correct.
hello.
Correct. So you're right, by the way. So that operation itself is a wrong operation. So you're deleting the first line, and
Okay.
in the same command, you're actually expecting 2 things to be done. Okay. You add a line and you're deleting the same line.
Okay.
Okay.
So it
So that
doesn't
is over.
perform like that.
Correct. It actually will not perform like that. Now let's say if I give like this, till it is not happening. 1A. First line, let's say 2A, I'll give. So on the same line, I'm performing the operation. Okay. So yeah, it is right. Actually, I firstly picked in the wrong example, by the way. So if you're actually, it actually comes only when you're actually doing a delete operation. If there is no delete and you're doing something else, there is a happy path only. So delete means actually your outcome you're expecting is to delete the first line. Even though it inserted it, by the way, it is again going and deleting the first line. So it's like how can you keep it is like undone logic kind of a thing, right? So you're expecting this as an outcome. What is the outcome? You delete the first line and you insert something on the first line. So essentially that means is same thing, right?
Yes.
End of
Understood.
the day, the outcome is you're expecting is first line to be deleted, whether you insert or you don't insert. I think there is a word called a precedence. Okay, the delete has the highest or the least precedence. So that means first insert operation would have happened, and after that, finally the deletion is coming into picture. So you're deleting it. The last one which is getting executed is delete.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Hey, yeah, I know you mentioned about the precedence, right? So which one will be executed first? Do you have anything like a list?
Leave it. I am telling you, leave it. If it is confusing, you leave it. There's an option I told. There's a multiple commands you can do. You just do one after another only. It's okay.
The main reason why I have so much questions with the SED command is because um, during one of my project, I was working on the existing code and
It's
this
okay.
having this many
It's okay.
commands.
Rather than going with undone doing the combinations at the beginning, by the way, you come to 1:1 ratio. First you perform first operation, after that you perform second operation. It's okay. You go that way.
Okay, because decrypting was kind of hard. That was the reason. That's okay. Okay, I'll talk to you maybe offline
No,
on this.
don't go there. That's what I'm telling.
Okay.
If you ask one more time, I'll remove this line. That's it. We never
Okay.
discussed about -e option. There's no point, right? I know how this also you'll not do much, by the way. So we'll talk about it anyhow. You'll get into the scenarios of why you will not do this also in the automation world. So you deal the things in a complete different way. Yeah,
Okay.
that's okay.
Post it. Yeah, I need it. Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. If you're really interested, so again, since the point came in, so if you're really interested, I mean, SCD command, there's a beautiful book about it, SCD 101 hacks, Naresh Natarajan. I think it's available for free also to download. SCK and AWK hacks, 101 hacks, very beautiful book. So you can read it thoroughly, like if you want to understand different options internally, by the way. Okay. So yeah. So even, I mean, I've been mostly using SCD quite long back, by the way, but when the automation world comes into picture, so I think you will necessarily move into a different way of doing things. Okay, so over a period of time, these options will not be much needed also for you while you're doing it. It's okay. Whenever you have some time, if you're have options, and go through. Yeah, any other questions before moving on? Cool. So next thing is there is a command line browser which is called as curl command. Okay, I mean, essentially you do the, let's say, as a DevOps engineer, you deal with a web application, right? Now that web application is working or not working, it is hosted on the server. Okay, one option is you check it from the browser on your local desktop by connecting to the server and all. That is one approach. And another approach is okay, so sometimes you can't actually access that server remotely from your desktop. You essentially only can log into the system, and from that system only, you should be eventually evaluating things like whether the things are working, not working, kind of a thing. Like especially your service is running. Okay, like when you actually wanted to locally execute, at least it is working before coming out and verifying. So you're doing troubleshooting, right? And so in any of the case, by the way, either you wanted to access some third-party URL or the URL which belongs to the local system only, that system only. The curl is one of the inevitable command, I would say, for most of you when you're actually being as a DevOps engineer. Okay, so curl command is going to be day in day out. Generally, you're going to perform for troubleshooting purposes. Okay, so curl can do the same things that what your browser can do. What your browser can do, it can do two things. One thing is browse, and the second thing is a download options. Okay, it will allow you to download certain files as well. Okay, now so now curl command, I'll give www.google.com. So now I just did a curl of google.com. I got some random content, right? But actually here also you're getting the same thing. You give www.google.com. Okay, more or less, if I look at the actual page source, okay, you got the same thing. Okay, it's a very lengthy content. Okay, it just printed on the screen. It is also giving the same screen only. Same content only it has given on the command line. Okay, you got the same content. But however, your UI browsers are actually meant for projecting that information in a better way, but your command line tool can't do that. That is not its purpose. Okay, so that is where we are going to deal with. I mean, not that's for the reason, but you eventually deal with the curl command. So sometimes the content can be a readable content. For example, if your content is readable, by the way, so any browser, let's say, something I can For an example, there is a Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is also a formatted version. You will not get it properly. It's a HTML version. And I think some page where a basic content is also having. Basic page, something. I think this Columbia University is a very old page. Okay, I think something I can use it. So you can go and give curl and you give the URL. So you got the content. So here you can see this just a moment something, which this moment is not on the header, by the way, I think here. Sample page, and after that it is not displaying. So somewhere you will see the information, which is, let's say, do it yourself authoring. That also did not came. Okay, so that means the page went to some other place. The UI browser, what it has done is, even though you're typing this URL, it has taken you to some other place. Now I also want to go into that place. Now curl -capital L option will come into picture, but still it is not coming. Did I give the correct one? This is the one. Or is it a JavaScript that it is getting it from somewhere? I'll do one more thing rather than these third-party web pages. GitHub is the best one to handle. For an example, my username, let's say, I have something like, let's say, this content for an example. Okay, so this content, I go to the readme.md file, and I'll just go to the raw version of it. So here is the one content I have. I'll give curl of this. So now you can see this. So whatever I'm giving here, okay. So here I'm getting the same thing. So it is little readable content. Now it all depends upon the URL which you are browsing, okay, whether you will understand whether it is a readable or not readable. Okay, so this is how okay, you're going to get it. Sometimes you get a structured data, for an example, sample 3 API testing. Okay, I think it is giving an image. Yes. Something. Okay, so here is a URL. Just click curl to that. I'm getting a response. You're getting so many things if you see, right? So something I'm getting, okay. And even this I don't want it to have this way, by the way. I want format is equal to, not sure this guy supports. I want some structured data, which is like JSON, not coming. Okay, again, I wanted to, yeah, this kind of an output I wanted to. So you can see this curl to give. Okay, this is a proper content, by the way. So structured content, we call it up. Okay, so to visualize this in a better view, so there is a JQ command. Don't worry about that pipe JQ and all. So, but I wanted to show this. This is a proper format which you got it. Okay, so there's a list of items, by the way, so which you are getting it there. So it's a structured content. So this is what you generally do some testing when you're actually doing a testing, whether things are working, not working, your services hosted on the system is working or not working. Okay, you're going to test like this. For an example, now here I am giving some other third-party website. So maybe as a part of troubleshooting, I'll just check my local system itself. I'll call it up as a local host or something like that. Okay. So for this kind of a testing, whether I'm getting the data or not. So let's say the people outside of the server is reporting the things are not working. Now you have access to the server, you log in and test it out. Within the server, it is working or not. So in that particular cases, curl is a command that you have to rely on. Okay, very good command, by the way. All right, and the next is the curl also supports other things, which is like, downloading the content as well. Okay, so just for downloading purpose, you have the curl command. You just need to give, or you have two formats in downloading the curl. When you're actually, it's the same like browser, by the way. For an example, http://apache.org, if I give, there's a one website will come. Okay, a very common one. That's why I picked it up. So here is a download option. So I'll click on download. Now here it is giving me the files. Now let's say if I click on this file, it just downloads on my system as is the file name. Or else I don't want as is the file name. So I wanted to save this as save link as. I'll choose a different file name. So test, by the way. Okay, that is the file name it downloaded, right? Now curl also supports the same thing. Save as option is there, save option is there. Which one you want to choose is your choice. Now I have this link address, copy link address. Now I am going to give curl hyphen capital O is a save option. It is just going to save the file. So it just got the same file name, or same file. Or else you can go for a save as also. Save as is hyphen O option, small o. You have to give the file name. So file.tar.gz rather than file. Maybe I'll give demo or something. So now what it does, it just downloaded it, but in a different file name. Now it is your choice which one to use. But curl supports both the things. Okay, so that is about a curl command. Okay, both the options. Curl command in total does the three things that your generally browser will do. I mean, browser may have many things like, plugins, a history, bookmarks, all those things are not there, but still the core of the browser, if you look in, right? So what you do, browse plus some downloads. Both the things are supported by curl command. Curl is a very, very, very layman. Say like, very small command, but does, very coming as a very handy in terms of troubleshooting. Anyhow, we'll do some troubleshooting later days, when we go into the project and all, some things will not work. This is the only command we'll rely too much on majorly. Okay, if I am getting inside the system for troubleshooting. Okay, so that's about curl command. Yeah, any questions?
So Raghu, does curl command support upload also?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So if you're uploading, so you have certain options around upload. So curl upload a file. So you can just have the upload option. So we just need to, if you have, authentication also you can provide. These are all headers, by the way. Or maybe there's a PHP thing. So like this. You can have to use a post method or put method, by the way, and you will be able to upload the file. But given file name, this is a test.mp3 file is being uploaded.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Now the next one, which we wanted to talk about is, when we actually try to download certain files on your systems, okay, those comes as a compressed format. So just now we have did something, we downloaded something, but actually it came as an compressed file. Okay, and that particular compressed file, if I need to that compressed file I need to extract, so then there are extraction commands which are there. And when you actually talk about compressed files, usually the downloads you will find out in two formats majorly. One is a tar.gz file, or else you will find it in a zip format. Mostly these are the 95% of the time, or even more than that. I think generally used compression methods is tar format or zip format. Okay, these are the widely, you take any softwares, by the way, you mostly end up getting these two things only. Okay. For an example, some zip file software to download. Okay, Tomcat download, something like that. So some software, okay, where it can give me a zip format. That's the only thing I'm looking for. Yeah, here I have a zip file format. Okay, so copy link address, call no, sorry, -o. You want this? Okay. So I can go for human readable format, LH, so that it will show me in a human readable format. Okay, all right. Now, if I wanted to extract them, so then you have extraction commands. So it is going to be a tar file. If any time you see .tar with extended compression, that's okay. But .tar, then you're going to use a tar command. Now the tar command, you use -x for extraction option, and -f, you're going to specify a file name. Okay, so now tar -xf, let's say demo.tar.gz. So now that demo.tz is extracted. Now you got this folder. This folder has many files, by the way. Okay, now rather than you to download these many files, they're compressing as one file, and they're just downloading that file. Okay, so I mean, when you're actually trying to download the files, by the way, so most of the time, okay, it is going to be a single compressed or archived file only. You will not generally do the multiple files. Multiple files you need to do means, so then there is a P2Ps will come into picture. Peer-to-peer, like what is a P2P? Well-known clients we use is torrents. Okay, I'm not sure any of you are aware of the torrent things have you used, by the way. But yeah, so torrents and all work on the individual files, by the way. Small files is powerful for sharing if you are using a P2P protocols. But for HTTPs and all, you generally prefer to make it as a single file and you transfer rather than multiple files. Okay, so yeah, you mostly end up seeing single file, and after that extractions on the server side. So that is a tar command. Now RMI and RF HTTP. So you have it. Now, generally you may see people using another extended options also, like V. V means it will show you what all it is extracting. And they will use jet also because it is a gjet option. Okay, it is actually not only a archived one, it actually also did some compression also. Okay, so why you use compression is because it may save little space, by the way. It can be compressed and decompressed again algorithm. So there are three algorithms which is widely used with tar command: gjet, bjet2, and xjet. Even when you're actually trying to download also, you have tar.gjet. Now there was when I went with the HTTPD, so here on the download option, here you might see that bjet2 is also giving. So they're giving two algorithms here, same source, but two algorithms. Now these developers are giving bjet2 gjet format, whereas Tomcat guys are giving gjet and zip combinations. Okay, so it's up to you which one you use it. So this is where we are going to get different compression methods. And if you have different compression method, you use -j, $-j, and J also, you can use it. Now, first of all, tar is never asking you to provide which compression decompression method it should use. It can detect and it can use it. So that means you simply give tar xf is fine. Okay. And if you want to see what all the list of files which is getting extracted, additionally, you provide xv, but jet and all, you don't need to provide, to put header around it also. Okay, it will do its job. So you don't have to bother about it really. All right, so this is how we are going to deal with extraction. So that means tar -xv jet or xjet you can ignore. So you can use the same file. So it just extracts, sorry, single quotes. So, but it's just showing the files which is getting extracted. That's the only difference you'll see if you want to see them. Otherwise, not needed. It will automatically detect it and use that decompression method on the system if it is available. So, which means that needs to be available in order to decompress. So curl -o. That means tar rm-rf http. I'll remove the folder which is extracted. So tar-xf again, this is a bz2 format. Now I'll go and give the same file name. So now you can see this, what it is telling. It is telling that, it doesn't have a decompression method. What is not there? It is trying to use the, decompression method of that particular decompression software that is not there in the system. That algorithm or a piece of software is not there. You need to install it in order to use it. As simple as that. Okay. So for an example, sudo dnf. But you need to understand a very important thing here. Okay, so you didn't ask to use the bzip2. It automatically detected that is a bzip2 and it is using it. So you know to really give -j, -z, all those options you don't need to provide. This is okay. Anyhow, it's not there. That's fine. If we install it, it will work. It will start working. Same way. So you have, that same tar command, you can use a creation of the archive also, but I'm not interested in that for now because most of my job is actually trying to, download and extract the things rather than making the things, but you still have options if you're interested. Okay. So try to take a look, search in the internet. It's okay. Now there is another type of files that you download. So which is, this may be zip files. So if it is zip, by the way, you just go and give zip and you give the zip file name, and it is actually going to extract, and you got the extracted folder, and you are extracting. Okay. All right. So that's about the extraction commands tar and zip. Any questions? Cool. I see no hands. Moving on to the next one. So the next is the pipe symbol. Okay. And so we already used certain combination of the commands, by the way. So we talked about a semicolon, which is going to be, delimiting two commands where you can execute two commands on the same line. We used semicolon. At the same time, I told two more options, by the way. So double ampersand and double pipe symbol, right? Now, those we'll talk about again later. Okay. So, but again, we'll talk about one more thing of combination of the commands, which is a pipe symbol. Okay. So what is the pipe symbol is going to do is it is going to send the command of first command output as a input to the second command. Okay. So here, literally what happens is, so command one output, one, and its output goes an input to the second command. Or you can just give command one, pipe, command two. Okay. So you literally do the pipe. So that means you just translate this into another way. So you translate this as command one and okay. So in between this pipe symbol will become like this, literally a pipe, right? So you do this one, pipe symbol, pipe symbol. You send the input like this, you receive the output. What is the pipe's purpose? So you send an input in one side, you receive the, you send something from one side, you receive it on the other end, by the way, whatever you sent, right? So that's where the command output is going to send here. And receives it as a input. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, now why you need this? Because the first command output I may need it for second command. So I already shown the curl command, so that actually giving something I wanted to go and use to some other command so that it formatted very well, right? As an input, I needed it, by the way. Yeah, this one, right? So the output of this curl command is coming very simple. Okay, I'm not able to, so let's say visualize it properly, and I wanted to send it to some other guy for some other purpose. So it actually going to send to the another command, and you're going to get the output. Quite slow. Yeah. Now the same commands, like let's say cat/etc password that you know by the way. So now out of this, I am going to go for search for root. Now you got only the words with root. Now inside of this, again you pipe it, and again you send it, like let's say 2 lines you have. So head -n1 you take it up. Okay. Now I want only the username pipe -awk hyphen this one, and go for print $1. You just this command output sending to the next command output sending to the other command, other commands like that. Okay. So you can do this one. All right. So that's about a pipe symbol. Any questions? But anyhow, one more scenario. Pipe is not completed yet. One more scenario. Now everything you send it to the other side will not get executed on the other side. For an example, let's take RM command. Okay. So now touch 1.txt, 2.txt, 3.txt. 3 files I have created. Okay. Now ls command, I have this much, right? I'll remove the folder just for time being. Okay, just to avoid the folders. I have all files only right now. So many files I have. Okay. ls command is giving this output. That means this output, if I send it to the rm command, so then what it's supposed to do, rm-f. See, the output of first command goes an input to the rm command. What we're expecting from the rm command? Rm command, okay, is going to remove those particular files. That much we understand, right? So that means let's hit enter. Now do ls. Those files are just there. Okay. So this is an important thing that you need to understand, that every command which is out there may not support pipe symbol to accept the input from pipe. Okay, and RM is a classical example for it. Okay, it doesn't accept the inputs from the pipe symbol. Now, while you start using Linux more and more, you'll start facing certain commands which will not do the job like this. Okay, famous commands, powerful, some commands will do that, but at least somewhere other where you'll see some things that can't actually supports the things from pipe symbol. But still I need to eschew the operation. I wanted to go and remove the files. So that's where, okay, you can bridge the gap between them. I mean, you can bridge the gap by using another command, by the way, a third party command which is exclusive. Again, it's native to the operating system, very basic one. So that will come as a handy. So that's where args comes into picture. Now you're not sending the output to the RM command, you're sending the output to the xargs command. Now to the xargs command, on the left side, you're giving the input, on the right side, you're giving the command. Okay. Now what it will do inside is, it is going to execute the command, okay, by passing the input which it is receiving, by the way. It load the command, it load the input internally within the xargs. What it is going to do is command space input. Now rm-f and all the list of files it will give. Okay, and enter now. All the files are gone. So when you are using pipe symbol, always you need to ensure the command which you are using does supports pipe symbol. And how do you know? Just by doing trial and error methods, you understand and you implement. That is the idea. Clear? Any questions? Okay. Let's see a hand.
Good evening, Raghu. Sorry, good morning,
Yeah.
Raghu.
Yeah.
So how many more weeks are there for Unix
We're
lessons?
not learning Unix, we're learning Linux. Both are different.
Linux,
Yeah.
sorry, learning Linux, yeah. How many more days or weeks do you have planned for teaching Linux?
So this week and next week, first session also. Apart, if you ignore today, 2 more days.
So rest of the week, it will be Linux. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So the next is other commands, which is related to the a process management, by the way. In Windows also, you might have known that there is a task manager, that you open task manager, you see the list of process running in the system. Some or other time, I'm sure that every one of you would have went through that exercise of opening the task managers. System is slow for whatever the reason it is. Oh, you opened it and so check it out, right? So here also, it is the same thing. If you want to see the list of process, then we are going to use a PS command to do that. Okay, so PS command. Now PS command is going to show certain information. Okay, so that the process which is there, by the way, right? So there's one process running. Now with just PS itself you executed, that is another process just ran when you actually trying to look at that information. Now the PS command just shown the only process which belong the PS command is the command which will show you only the process belongs to your current session, by the way. So current user, current session. The current user, which is easy to user, and easy to user can have multiple sessions. It just shown only one that session process only. Okay, for an example, if I open another session, let's say another terminal. Okay, so then you have still PS command, it will still show the same thing, 1332 only it is showing. Okay, now what is this 1332? It is a process ID. Every process is going to have a number in the system that is called as a process ID. Now it is showing the process ID. Okay, but this PS command, first time when you executed, a process has been created and ended. After that, again, you executed a PS command. So the PS command is again a new process that a new number came in. Okay, but still the consistent one is one process only. That means one process only is being shown here. This process is the current session process. How many process running on this current session? But whereas there are process belongs to this user of other sessions as well, or in fact every user, by the way. If I wanted to see all the process in the system, like not only my session, my things, I wanted to go for PS-E so that it can show everything, by the way, every process. So these many processes are running. So if we need some detailed information, so then PS-EF is a very common command that we generally use. Okay, I'm giving -EF. The major advantage you get it from E to EF is process ID and its parent process ID. You got a process ID, but you got a parent process ID. For this information, generally we'll prefer to go for -EF. Okay. Now, if you look at the process hierarchy, okay, it is just showing all the process, which is fine. Okay, but if you look at the process hierarchy, so there are two processes which is starting when you actually maybe start the operating system. The process number 1, process number 2, where the parent belong is 0, by the way. There is no parent at all. Let's assume 0 is no process. That means the first 2 process that get, that get born when you actually try to create an power on operating system is 1 and 2. Okay. Now, process 1 and 2 are the core system processes, where the process 1 or the child of process 1 is manageable, okay, by administrator of the operating system. Whereas process, process which are ending with 2, that means like any, any childs which are created by 2 process ID 2 are system process, and those cannot be managed by admin. Those cannot be managed by admin user. Okay, manageable. Okay, so who is admin user in the Linux operating system? In Windows, it is a administrator. Okay, even though you create an operating system, when you started launching an operating system, it may ask you which username and all. For you, it may create it and give you the admin privileges. That's okay. But there is a separate account exclusively, which is in the name of administrator, which sits in the Windows operating system. Same applies to the Linux as well. There's a root user, and I'll, rather than admin user, I'll exclusively mark it as a root, by the way, so that will have a clarity. So process 1 and 2 are the first processes that will start. Okay. Now all the processes are child of this one. So that means you take any process. For an example, so here 1913 I take. 1913, who is the parent? 1914. And 1914 is the process. Who is the parent? 1913. And 1913, okay, who is the parent? 1911. 1911, who is the parent? 1265. And if you go to 1265, who is the process number? 1. That means you can manage this process. But there are processes which are started with, ends with the 2, by the way. So those processes you can't control. Those are the core things. Even in Windows also, if you go to the task manager, you have something called as system process or something. Okay, so if I'm not wrong, Windows task manager. Process. So some process you can't actually end it also. Okay, so it will show you the system level process also. You can see, okay, you can extend this and you'll be able to see, right? So those you can't end it. Same thing applies here also. The core of the operating system, this one. Okay, and every process is a child of some process. That is the design of the operating systems, Linux operating system. And yeah, so first 2 are born and all are sub-process to that. Now, I just listed the process, but however, my requirement is to kill a process, let's say. Then there is a command that will come into picture, which is a kill command will come into picture, and you give the process ID. Okay, so I have 2 terminals, let's say. I'll pick up one command which can run continuously. Let's say sleep is as a command for demonstration purpose. Let's say sleep 100 means it will sleep for 100 seconds. Let's say for an example, I press sleep 1, it sleep for 1 second and gives you the prompt. Or sleep 2 means it will wait for 2 seconds. And I'm just going to give you give there 100 seconds so that it will continuously there. So ps-ef, it will show all the process. You already learned the pipe command. You simply go for grab. Okay, you simply go for grab and you go for sleep, by the way. So you can see that sleep 100, this is the process. Now what you can do, you can go for kill of this particular process. Now what happened here on the above, if you see, the process is terminated, it is telling. The process came out. Before 100 seconds, that process came out because I interrupted, I killed that particular process. Okay. Now, that's a kill command. Now, at times, you can't actually kill the process. Okay. So you will be forcefully killing the process. Let me bring a scenario here. I have something, just let me get it. It's only for demo purpose, don't bother. So I have some script, by the way, which I give this. Okay, I am running something. Okay, don't worry about what I ran out. So now you go for same sleep command. You'll see ps-ef pipe grep for sleep. Okay, now what you're doing, you're just going to think like, I'll go and kill this process. You go and kill the process, kill -i. Okay, sorry, kill. And you give this, the process is still there. 2002, 2002, it is still there. Now it is not killed. You kill a number of times. It's not killing. Okay, not getting killed. So it is still there. So that means there are many reasons why it is not coming out, by the way. It was never told to come out. It is okay that way. Some process will be there, never to come out. For an example, some processes, especially in the operating system, like endpoint protections, like Sentinel-1 or something like that. Okay, so Sentinel-1. Okay, I'm sure that I mean, whoever is a working people would have heard about this word. So your company is installing some protection in your system, so that if there is any, I mean, if any mischievous things that you are performing, those will continuously collect the data and gets reported, by the way. So which is a so DLP we call it up. Okay, so okay, DLP is a data loss protection, data loss prevention. Okay, is a category. Okay, where the tools will be helping you to deal with that. So that means you are doing some mischievous things and on the system, so they wanted to protect. So I mean, mischievous executions which is happening, especially to detect the malware, spywares in your system. So this comes into picture. Not antivirus in way, but these are little different way they'll perform. Now, this program is never supposed to terminate in my system, by the way. So even as an administrator also, I shouldn't terminate this. So then what they will do is they'll design the command to never accept a kill response, by the way. Okay, it'll always run in the operating system. So something like that I have done here. So now ps-eo grep sleep is never going to kill. Now I have controlled only a normal kill not to accept. So that means like, if I go for a forceful kill now, kill -9, and if I give the same process, okay, this process actually telling it is killed. And if I go here, it is no more, it's gone. Okay. So that means it got killed. So kill -9 is a forceful option. Now, what is the scenarios I talked about? Why it will not come out? Because it is intended not to come out for one sometimes. And there are programs like database and all, okay, which will, okay, now let's say you ask the database to come out, then it has to do some operations, by the way. So what are the operations that it has to perform? What all the things in the memory? It will make sure it will put everything to the disk, a hard disk, save everything and come out properly so that there won't be any data loss, right? It takes some time. Okay, a few minutes of time it may take to come down. Okay, but you can't go and interrupt that with kill -9 option, right? Or sometimes it may be completely hung. By the way, you understood you spend how much amount of time also it's not coming out. Then you have to use a powerful option which is -9. A powerful option which is coming into picture is -9. All right, but don't try to use this option in the very first place. Kill is a normal command that we'll use. In the worst case that you not coming out and you know that you're going to take a risk of killing that particular process, and then -9 is expected to use to kill the process. And that comes to the end of today's topics I wanted to cover. So tomorrow we'll have further more topics. Any questions? And one thing, this Google document is actually kept in the link of links, by the way, list of links. There also, I will just give you 1 second. 1 minute. Huh? So what I have observed is that I think this document is getting opened within the Learnist portal only. It's not, not great for viewing, by the way. So what I have done is I kept that information on the about page. I'll show you that. Hmm. Okay. So you should be able to see this information when you actually go to the list of links. You can click on open, you will see this here. But actually, if I open here, it's just showing the document here only. But rather than that, you can come down. You can open this, by the way, the URL is there. You click on it, it will open in a new tab. So you can directly view here for easy purpose. Okay, that's what I wanted to mention. Yeah, that's all from my side for today. Any questions, go ahead. Otherwise, feel free to drop. I'm done things from my side technically. Bye.
Sir, you will be using Red Hat only, na? Not CentOS.
Yeah, not CentOS Red Hat.
And one doubt, sir. Sir, you use PS-EF pipe grab
Hmm.
process ID, right?
Correct.
Okay. So
No, I
sometimes
just gave pipe grep means some name of the process I searched.
okay.
So because I know names, I can't remember numbers. So I'll go with a name. So I search for sleep process name, not the process ID. Because
So
process ID is dynamic.
what the difference between kill process ID or kill -9 process ID? What the difference between these two things?
Kill is a normal kill, graceful kill. You are telling that, hey, you please come out. You please exit is what you're telling. Whereas kill -9 is you're forcefully killing it. Graceful and forceful.
Hi. So the kill, can we kill multiple process? Is there any special
Yes.
option?
Yeah, you can. So just kill space, multiple process IDs. It will work.
And the option 9, so do we have any other numbers? I know 9 is -9 is any other numbers?
There are total 64 signals in the process, by the way, so which you can send.
Okay. So I tried kill -help, but okay, hyphen, what's that, L or 1?
L.
L, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Raghu, here when you're gripping the command, it gives all the lines with the sleep, and we have to select one particular ID or all the processes. What exactly it is?
You're searching for a word. PS-EF is generating some output, and from that output, you're searching for a word, whichever the word it is, sleep, let's say. Now, all the process, wherever the word sleep is matching, it will print you there. From there, which one you want to kill, it is your choice.
Okay.
You're on mute, Naveen.
Hello, Raghu.
Yeah.
Raghu, somehow I missed how to connect to via putty. So
In the
yeah.
document, it is mentioned, so you can, screenshots is given, so you can take a look.
Okay,
So
document. Can you give this link of document? And
yeah, so from the links which are joining the learning portal, right? So there only you have list of links. You can go through that, but anyhow, I'll put it on the chat for now.
okay. I tried it. It is saying some connection error for connecting to EC2 instance.
Yeah, lab session. You need to come to lab session. If I would need to see the screen, it's better to come to lab session. Or else do one thing. Let me
Yeah.
unblock you. You just drop the session and you go and join the lab session. You have the lab session link.
I missed it somehow.
How are you joining the session? Like through some
Direct link, right? Where is that link? Join.
So there you have a training portal. In the training portal, you have, if you go down, you'll see the list of links. There you have a Zoom link, lab session.
In the JoinDevops.
Whatever it is, you go there in the training portal. Okay, you will go down. This session, you are clicking on that and you're joining that session. If you go down further, there is a list of
links. Okay.
Yeah, in that you have.
So you click on the lab link, then you will find this.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I'll be there for 5 minutes. Please try to join immediately. I need to go to office again.
Yeah, sure, Raghu.
Yeah.
I'm just going there. Lab session, right? Course analysis and then.
Anyone? Any other questions in the meantime? Okay, all right. So thanks everyone. See you in tomorrow then. Bye. Good day.